Alright, so just checking some measurements here. This one here measures 56.5 inches, which the chart, which I'll put into the video, will show the body styles and the different measurements for each body style, A, B, C body, go from there. This shows that it's going to be an E-body diff by that measurement, or me. But I know it is a C-body because we took it out of a big old New Yorker, so whether or not it's been changed at some point, I don't know. I'm cutting it down either way. It did have the big 11-inch drums and the old school shoes and hardware. But so I'll show you what I'm going to do. Like I said, it'll be a couple part video just trying to get to, as I'm thinking myself through this, that's how it's going to work. Alright, so I'll take you through this little stand that I made. I made this little angle iron stand. You can see it's pretty crude, simplistic at best. I just kind of used some scrap angle iron, 2-inch angle iron that I had, and I screwed it to this workbench that I use that has casters on it. And my plan is to just strap this down here so that it can stay still for me while I'm doing my work. So just to show you, that's what's holding it. The next thing I want to show you is I'm just using simple measurements, something I thought that would be standard to all. So I hooked my tape onto this stud, and I just checked both sides from end to end, and I come up with 23 and 11/16 to the edge of this flange, this inside edge here. And if I go to the other side, it is the same measurement. 23 and 11/16 right there, that inside flange. So I'm going to use that as my narrowing measurement, so that when I cut it down, I'll make them both equal on both sides. I don't know if that is the right, more correct way, or if there's a better way. I'm sure there is. I've seen the little fixtures that you can buy and mount in here. For what I'm doing and what I think will work, it'll work fine. So I'll show you guys shortly. I'm going to cut the spring perches off here, and we'll go to there. Okay, so I'm going to start cutting the spring perches. Always remember safety glasses. I don't want to preach, sound like somebody's mother, but I've had a lot of these grinding discs come apart, not to the point of cutting me or anything like that, but some pretty close calls. So safety first, guys. Alright, and remember, aim the sparks away from you or away from anything else near you that could start a fire or anything. Alright guys, I'll show you that. So I'm just taking off the meat of the bracket. Sorry. You can see the cut there. So I'm just going to take that cut and do the same thing on both sides, which I haven't done on this side yet. I'll do the same thing on that side, cut them off, and then once I have the meat of the bracket off, I'll go back and clean that up. Right. There's a little bit more to go there just on this one. Well, let's see if we can pry that one off. I should probably strap this down. Alright. So here you can see that cut off. Just kind of shows you what's going on there. There was a lot of mud and debris and everything else in there. So I'm hoping that it cleans up alright. We'll see when it's done. I'm sure it will. Alright, so I'll set you guys back up in the corner and we'll start cutting off the other side. So kind of a funny point, but not so funny, is this, as I come around the corner and move this bench, You can see I actually have a used oil container there. Normally I don't store that stuff like that, but it obviously is there, so I'm going to take a pause and just move that out of the way. Alright, I just got one more cut down along this side. This one will be ready to come off, then I'll switch to a grinding pad. I think I'm through. I don't want to keep going because I'm on a kind of an angle, and I don't want to cut into the axle tube if I can help it. I think this side here I got a bit closer than I would like initially. We'll see here. Which is okay even if I did, because it's within 4 inches. So I'm 56 and a half. I'm going to be taking about 6 inches out for sunroof. I'm taking 3 inches off from an A-body factory measurement, and that's 4 inches from this. So 7 inches total that I'll be taking off. So 3.5 per side. Alright, so that's that. I removed those. I did get very close to cutting into that side, which I didn't want to do, so good thing I stopped. There you can see it. I got very close. I'm just past where I would have liked. This is a little more eroded, I guess, on this side. Like, it feels like it's got a bit of a ridge here. We'll have to see what it looks like once it's buffed down. Yeah, I'm just going to switch to a thicker stone. This one here is just a metal 1/4 inch used for grinding around. Like, it seems like you can wear those things forever. They never kind of go away. So probably buy one, you'll hand it down to your kids. Anyway, so I'm going to start grinding these down and see what they look like. Alright, so I use the heavy wheel to grind away the big chunks. It is eroded very badly underneath where that spring perch is, so I'm going to clean it up, then I'll bring the camera in closer to show you guys. The key point is obviously the dust in the air. Obviously make sure you're working in a well ventilated area, which I'm not. I live in northern Canada, Alberta, and it gets to -30. Last week was just -30 Celsius, so this is my garage sweater. I do have a heater, but I find it more comfortable to work in a sweater than anything else, so just let you know, work in a well ventilated area. I'm sure this rust isn't good for you. Alright guys, so I'm just going to take a break. I gotta let it kind of air out here a bit, but I'll show you guys. Here is the finished grind. You can see here's roughly where the weld was. The other one was over here, but it wore down quite a bit there. Like, this is actually still flaked up rust here that I was trying to chisel off earlier, and I was trying to run the grinder over to get it down, but so either way, I think I'll be all right for cutting it down, because that's pretty close to where I need to be. 3.5 inches from where I am puts me pretty close. Like, even if I got to take a little more and go to narrow it a little more than I wanted just to save the diff, that's what I'll do. So I'm just going to shut the video off. I'm just going to do the same to this side. So it's the same stuff. I don't think that part of the video is really relevant. Like I said, I just want to put out some good videos on how I'm going to go about it. All right, and time for a beverage over there. So, all right, so this side here is kind of ground down. I got the extra meat off the hanger off. This side is a lot worse in here than the other side. It's probably down 1/8 of an inch at the worst area back in here. So it looks like I might be narrowing this quite a bit more than I wanted. Well, maybe not quite a bit, maybe another inch. I didn't want to narrow it that much because I'm going for a certain type of look. I don't want to have the wheels so far back there that it looks like a Pro Street car, but I wanted them to be substantial tires on the back, so so maybe I'll end up taking an extra inch out. Alright, so what I'm going to use is this, I bought a Reed 4-wheel hinged pipe cutter for steel. I bought it used online at one of the local for sale sites. Pardon me. I'll sneeze. So I'm going to put this on here. And what I'm going to do is just take a cut off just to get it set up and get it cut once to get the end off, because I'm going to take them to work where I work and get them machined down so they're nice and flush and got me a bevel again, and hopefully that'll work good. I don't know if you guys can even see what I'm doing here. Try it out. So first things first, we'll snug her up and get a cut here. Get it touched. So I guess this will be a product review for the Reed 4-wheel cutter as well. I've never used something like this to cut steel, but I figured why not try it. Pretty serious looking cutter, I can tell you that. So we're going to give that a shot, see how it works. But first I'm going to strap that down. Okay, I found my square. So surprisingly, actually I thought that thing would be pretty square cutting it. But what I do find, I don't know if you can see this, so if I line up my edge along the straight part, I do have a bit of a gap on this end. And same thing on the other side. But I think maybe part of that is attributed to probably this erosion, because the pipe clamp, or the pipe cutter, sorry, is not sitting as square as it could. So here, the pipe, you can see the gap there. So that could be my fault, and what I mean by that is when these little fingers here are probably helping keep it straight, it's probably not getting a good pressure, equal pressure. I'm not sure exactly. Other than that though, it did cut very well. So I'll have to make sure that that's squared up before I move on. But so I was doing some internet research, and I seen on for A-bodies only some of the images of cars with around the same narrow diff, or maybe it's big block Dodge or big block Dart, sorry, around the 2-inch mark. So that's around where I would be to get rid of all this eroded part. So this is where I may end up in that same crooked cut thing if I can't get good support here. I don't want to go much more than I have to, so maybe part of it was the push off the weld cap, and that could very well be, because it does feel like I got a bit of an edge in here. Maybe it's part of that. It was not quite fully there. Either way, I'm going to make sure it's square and equal lengths before I move on, and that's just how I think it should be done. Maybe somebody could chime in and tell me I'm doing something goofy or not. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to have a gap to fill, you know, after I did the weld prep, the V prep and that. But so that Reed pipe cutter, I gotta say I'm very impressed with it. For the money, like I said, for me, I bought it used, bought it off local internet site, and I'm happy with it. The fact that I even cut it greater, you know, I don't know if I would've been straighter or not, on a chop saw. It's arguable, I think. It's all about setup. I just think I like that better. I just think, I have some of this that I wasn't anticipating. I definitely could have done, like I've seen other videos, and cut further up and just done the splice up in this area. I don't wanna do that. I guess I want it to look factory but be narrowed, so I want the weld right where the other weld was. And, so, yeah, we're gonna give that a go. So, yeah, that's it for me. I'm just gonna, so I'm gonna take these into work. And I'm gonna get the, show you guys. So I'm gonna take these into work. They have a lathe there for me. There's some guys that run the lathe. And I'm gonna get them to mill this off and then do my weld prep from here back. So once I know this total length that I end up with, that is when, you know, they'll hopefully be the same. Then I'll know how much to cut off the differential to make my final length. So once I know this, then I can do my calculations, and I won't do another thing until I get to that point. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully it's actually useful to somebody. The way I look at it is, a man built it, another man can modify it and build it again. Just how it is. It might just take me longer to get there. Alright guys, take care.